Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 82 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's never gonna give me up with me tonight?
the hero of pop star, Michael K. Hughes.
I'm never gonna put you down. I don't know, Mike. It's Emanuel, a.k.a. Commander Lionheart. Again.
I had to start this one like that.
I guess.
So that's why you were listening to that song. Okay.
No, it isn't. That actually came after I heard it. That was just to mess with you guys. When you came in the chat, the first thing you hear was that song. So now instead, all our listeners get to hear me singing.
Hey, they listened to me sing last week? I don't know.
Yep. It will be last week.
So now they're gonna listen to you.
All right, and I'm gonna introduce what we're playing because this was my pick. Kirby's Dream. Yes, this was my doing. Kirby's Dreamland 1 and 2 for Game Boy Color or Game Boy, not Game Boy.
Game Boy. Yeah, original Game Boy, not Color.
Kirby 1 was 92 and Kirby 2 was 95.
Oh, that's a late Game Boy, isn't it?
I mean, Donkey Kong was 94.
The Game Boy Color didn't come out until 98, I want to say.
Yeah, 97, 98, somewhere in the late 90s.
98, yeah. So the Game Boy was around for a long time, like the original one before the color one came 98. Out. So yeah, so
didn't have any competition, so I guess they really didn't need to evolve it.
I mean, Nintendo really never has like competition when it comes to handhelds. So
Sega does what the 10 don't.
Yeah, I guess they had the Game Gear.
Sega who? Who's that?
Yeah.
Who that?
Oh, and Emanuel. Before we get too far, you want to introduce where people might know you from?
People might know me from twitch.tv/Commander Lionheart. That's where I do my live streams a couple days a week. I do a show called First Strike, where I sit down, play the beginning of a video game. I've done a couple interesting games. By the time that you hear to this episode of the podcast, I would have done the Paper Mario First Strike, which I had never played a Paper Mario, so it would have been my first time. But since I'm talking in past tense, but it's actually future tense, I don't know how to say it. But Paper Mario, just go watch it. Probably over on youtube.com/Commander Lionheart, where my streams are then archived too. And I also do other stuff, like reacting to trailers sometimes and whatever. Probably reviews someday. I'll bring all those back. Maybe. I don't know. Back to you, Mike.
Darkwing Duck is coming out tomorrow, and then it'll be a week when this comes out.
So yeah. Still a confusing timeline. I feel like I'm in Chrono Trigger.
It's about time.
No, that's the name of Crash Bandicoot 4, which comes out in October.
In the ads for Chrono Trigger I had when I was a kid in one of the game magazines, probably Game Informer, said, "It's about time for Chrono Trigger." Which, yeah, that game. Okay, we're not here for that. That's later. But, okay, so Kirby's Dreamland is also, for those that don't know, it's published by Nintendo and made by HAL.
Yep.
HAL was the company of, God, what the hell's his name? The guy that passed away that was the president of Nintendo.
Satoru Iwata.
Yes. What you guys both said, almost together.
Hey, rest, yes.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't know that he was the one that came up with Kirby.
Yeah, he was the programmer on this.
Yeah.
Oh, and before, I do have to say the storyline, there is a plot for Kirby's Dreamland 1, and here is just one line from it. That is until one dark night when the gluttonous King Dedede and his rotten bandit sleeves swoop down from neighboring Mount Dedede for a midnight stack in Dreamland. Not only did they steal all their food, but they stole the Dreamlanders. The whole time you're going in this first game is because someone stole his food.
Dedede, by
it's
the way.
not the last time in Kirby history that the plot is moved forward by someone stealing his food.
I think it's kind of the plot of almost every game, though. Something happens to the food.
Because he is a fat little guy who sucks in things. He eats everything. It doesn't gain any weight.
And he's miscolored on the box art.
He's blessed.
Well, I mean, technically he was green in the gameplay.
Yeah. I think that's why they made him white on the box art, just because he was black and white in the game.
The pink didn't come to later.
Yeah, he's always supposed to have been pink, though.
I mean, Wario Land 3's box art has him in, like, a different color scheme of what his actual motto is in that game, and it's probably because of that as well. So,
I mean, Wario Land also was Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think maybe it's like a Hulk situation. You know how the Hulk first was like the Gray Hulk, and then they
that's
made
a printing issue.
Well, sure. Whatever you say, Marvel. Whatever you say.
It was cheaper to print them in gray at first than it was to use green ink. That's how he ended up gray in the first issue.
Oh, so it's like a Super Saiyan situation in Dragon Ball Z, where...
It's been a while. We had one of those in the show.
Oh, if you have me, sometimes I'll bring it up.
So those that don't know, like in Kirby's Dreamland, Kirby can't swallow anything and get any abilities in the first game. He can only suck things in and shoot them out.
Yep.
That's it.
That didn't come until next year's Kirby's Adventure.
It's basic as basic can come. It's honestly a thing that is in a lot of these long-running franchises, I want to say. Like, another example is the original Ratchet and Clank. You could not... I'm bringing it up, Mike. One day you'll put it on the podcast, but I won't be here for it.
Yep, we already talked about it.
But you can't upgrade your weapons or level up your weapons in that game. But in the sequel, and starting from the sequel, you can level up and upgrade your weapons. So it's like, that basic foundation of a gameplay of that first game, and then the sequels or the other games in the series are the ones that start implementing more stuff to it. That is what makes the game unique, I guess.
Yeah, they start from humble beginnings and then kind of evolve from there.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, because the first game is very humble. The levels are simple. I mean, they fit very much of a Game Boy idea where they're quick. You can get through them, fast. I mean, the whole game you can beat in 45 minutes if you want to. It's not a very long game.
I beat it in 30 minutes.
Was there rewinding involved?
I used rewind, not as much as I thought I would, but I still used it. Yes.
Yeah, this first game is super simple, even by Kirby standards. It's really easy.
But it's fun.
Before we continue, have you guys played any other Kirby games besides these two that we're talking about today?
Kirby's Adventure.
I've played almost all of them. I am a huge Kirby fan.
Oh, wow.
Perfect for this episode.
Yeah.
This will not be the last Kirby game on the podcast either.
So last time I was the Darkwing Duck aficionado, and this time we have Michael Hughes with the Kirbiness.
It was crazy to go back and play these two of the first three games, because, like I said, Adventure came out in between them, and just seeing how basic they are compared to some of the later ones.
Yes, I had never played either of these games, or Adventure. I have not played that one either.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
It's on the NES Online. It has rewind, so we're okay.
Yeah, good game.
Well live.
I mean, you might as well play Nightmare and Dreamland on GBA, because it's just a redo.
Here's the deal. This is something, because my first actual Kirby game, or not actual Kirby game, as in the first Kirby game that I did play was Kirby Tilt and Tumble.
Oh, geez. That is one I've never played.
That is never played. I am telling you right now, even as a kid, I hated that game. If I would have let myself been like, shit, this game is not good. I never want to play any of these games in this franchise ever again, I would have been very disappointed, because after that one, I actually did play Nightmare in Dreamland. It was one of the games that I had and played the most of on my Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, then you have played Adventure.
So Nightmare in Dreamland is a remake of Adventure, then.
Yeah.
Not of this one, not of the original Dreamland.
Yeah, it's a remake of Adventure.
Okay, I always had assumed that it was a remake of the first Dreamland, not of Adventure, though.
But Nightmare
in Dreamland is a very, very good friggin' Kirby game. It was my favorite Kirby game until I played Planet Robobot a couple years ago.
It's so good. I love Planet Robobot. It's been my favorite since it came out.
Yep, Planet Robobot is absolutely top tier Kirby game for me. Since I'm more of a Mega Man X fan, it combined both Kirby with Mega Man X, with the mechs and all that shit, and I loved it. It was really, really good. I have the other Kirby games that I have played are Squeak Squad for the DS.
Also good.
And yeah, it was also good. And Triple Deluxe for the 3DS, which was the one that came out before Planet Robot. Oh, and also, god damn it, I played Kirby 64.
I was waiting for you to bring that up.
That's going to be on the show someday.
Yeah. I did not like that game. So right now, Mike, I'm going to save you the hustle. Do not invite me. I'm gonna tell you right now, it goes on the box and never to be seen again.
Kirby 64?
Yeah, Kirby 64.
Yeah, I won't be boxed with you for that one.
No, I will not be back for that. And I think that after that, I actually played the free-to-play one. Did you get to play that one, Mike? Michael?
Yeah, the
Super Kirby Clash, which is on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, it's cool how they try to give them like different classes, like RPG classes, but it wasn't enough of a Kirby game for me.
Yeah, my good friend Mitho says that it's basically just Monster Hunter but Kirby.
Yeah, kind of.
I ended up beating it, but I kind of totally forgot about that I actually played it until the other day when I played these other two, and I was trying to remember what Kirby games I had played.
No idea what you're talking about.
That's fine.
A Super Kirby Clash is basically just you only fight like bosses instead of going through levels. It's just fighting bosses, but you can do it like co-op with either locally or online or whatever to beat those bosses, get items, and then buy better equipment so that you can beat other bosses. Very Monster Hunter.
It's a free game?
Yeah, It's a free-to-play game. It's on the Switch.
I might have to try this. This looks interesting.
You can try it. It's not bad. It's just it's not Kirby.
Yeah, I've never been a real big fan of like the spin-off games, Canvas Curse and the Mass Attack.
I have not played either of those or Epic Yarn. The one that I keep hearing a lot of people talk about is The Amazing Mirror, though. People say that one is Metroidvania-ish.
Kind of. Yeah, it's a bunch of one big interconnected level, more or less.
Yeah, like Metroidvania Light. And maybe one day I'll do a playthrough of that one just to experience it for the first time.
That's one I've never... It's probably the only main Kirby game that I haven't beaten.
Okay. But yeah, Kirby's a very solid franchise. Very good franchise overall. It does have its flukes, like we said. It has,
Kirby's Dreamland 1?
No, Tilt and Tumble. I get PTSD just thinking about it.
I want to try it now.
Oh, don't, Mike. I don't even know if you can emulate that game because you need it. The game came with like...
I'm sure there's a way.
It's got like a gyroscope in it.
Yes, it has a gyroscoping that you needed to like use the Game Boy. Like either it wasn't shaking, but it was like tilting it up so that Kirby jumped. That's how Kirby jumped because you were always a ball. You were constantly a ball, and you just moved. God, what was that game that they played for the replay showdown that one year? That the Marble Madness, almost like that, but it's Kirby, but it's exploration, and you need to use the Game Boy with motion controls. Basically, it was some dark diabolical shit that I don't know why I ever played it. Well, I know why I played it. My mom bought it for me, but other than that,
it's kind of like the Monkey Ball games.
A lesser.
In the way that you tilt the level, you don't actually control the character.
Yeah, but it's not. It's honestly not great, Mike. Don't do it.
I mean, speaking of Kirby's Dreamland, here for it.
Hey,
it is interesting since now you have all the history of Kirby. You can kind of have an idea where we're coming from with this game. You can kind of see how if we're educated enough to be talking about Kirby or not. Spoiler alert! I think only one of us is. But
no, I'm no ant dude, but I'll do my best.
I never played Dreamland back when it came out. I had Dreamland 2. A friend borrowed me as a kid. But in Dreamland 1, there's not a whole lot to say because it's kind of a simple game with a bunch of different levels. One thing I do want to point out is that this is the first boss in a Kirby game you ever fight is a stupid Wispy Woods that you see.
Woods.
I'm sure many of you know from Smash Brothers because he's in one of the background of the first Smash Brothers game, one of the levels.
Or from other Kirby games.
Yeah,
he's a recurring character.
Yeah, he's a boss in just about every Kirby game.
Yeah,
usually the first boss,
including Dreamland 2. He's the first boss. He is the first boss in almost every Kirby game in one way, shape, or form. In Planet Robobot, he's even like a robotic Wispy Woods.
The game was designed by Masahiro Sakurai, and we know how he loves to reuse things, so it's not too surprising.
Is that the Smash Brothers guy?
Yep.
Okay.
Which Kirby is his baby as well, which is why Kirby was the one to save everyone in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
I need to play that.
And you should. It's good. It's very good. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting how they do this, and the fact that Kirby is just such a simple character in this first game. Like, I don't like the fact that you can't suck in things and you can't, keep their abilities. That it's all about sucking in and shooting things out. But it's still a fun game. It's still, the levels are very short. They're very fluent. One thing I didn't realize this when I was playing this game until this podcast episode is the second boss when you're in Castle Lolo. Isn't that another NES game? Lolo something?
I don't know.
Don't
Don't ask the guy who's never played NES games.
Adventures of Lolo.
Okay, I knew they looked really freaking familiar because you fight Lolo and Lala, and they're these two little balls that look like kind of Kirby's. They don't suck things, and they keep pushing things at you, and you have to, hit them with stuff. But I figured they were from another game. They look like they are.
Yep.
But what was it you said?
Adventures of Lolo. It's another game developed by HAL.
Oh.
Okay, that makes sense then.
That makes perfect sense now. Okay, I was wondering why. Were they first appeared in this game?
No, let's see. Adventures of Lolo, North America, 1989. So they would have been before this. Is that game not released in Japan? Wiki doesn't have a release date for it there. Interesting.
They're part of the Agerland series, apparently. I don't know. I found some stuff. Okay, that was just something that kind of was interesting to me because I know that name, Lolo. I'm like, wait a second. That's a weird NES game that I heard of before.
I've never heard of it, so...
It's one of the games you can get in the first Animal Crossing.
I have not played Animal Crossing, so...
Oh, and they were in Kirby right back at you in that cartoon, by the way.
Oh my god. Kirby.
As much as I love Kirby, I've seen very little of that show.
Yeah, all I know about that show is the intro. I don't think I ever watched any of that show. It's the same with Sonic X. I don't think I ever watched Sonic X. I know of it. I did watch Sonic SatM, but neither Kirby Right Back at You or Sonic X I don't think I ever watched because I didn't have those channels or that channel here in my home. But the theme songs, Kirby.
And then the third boss, the one thing this game does interesting is I think this game's actually arguably interesting, but the third boss fight is a freaking blimp that you fight.
Kabula.
And I was surprisingly into this because Kirby can float. So in this fight, you get some item where you just constantly are floating and you have to just keep shooting him with things. And he's shooting projectiles at you as if you were playing a shoot 'em up type style game. And it's very interesting for some reason.
Now hold on.
It reminds me of
Mario Land.
Super Mario Land 1, yeah.
Hold on. You're okay with it here, but you're not okay with it in Mario Land?
Should not fly ships. Kirby can float, so it's okay. It was justified.
Yeah, you get the mint leaf power up, and I'm pretty sure this is the only game it appears in as far as mainline Kirby goes. Oh, apparently it's in Triple Deluxe.
Huh. What? No, I apparently found that out. Yeah, I was okay with it. I didn't even think about what you said, that it being Mario Land when I was playing it until now, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. But I enjoyed it. I wasn't upset. I wasn't frustrated. I didn't feel cheap. It was just like, okay, I just kept hitting them. It was just fine.
So, in Super Mario Land 1, which was the best part of Super Mario Land 1.
My controller worked too. Maybe that was good. So when I played Mario Land, controller didn't work and I couldn't go. I had to use one joystick for up and one joystick for down, left, and right. So that might have something to do with it too.
Starting to sound to me more like don't blame the game, blame the player.
More like blame the emulator.
That too.
Yeah, that boss Kabula, the blimp, we don't actually see him again in a mainline Kirby game until the remake for Superstar Ultra. Way later. It's like 2011, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, there's your fun fact.
I don't remember.
8. Not even close.
I mean, there's not even, I know I'm kind of skipped. There's not even a whole lot to say about these levels. Just each level, at least in this first game, just adds a little bit more of Kirby, a little bit more action, more enemies to suck in that don't give you abilities because they haven't came up with the idea yet. I mean, it's pretty basic, but I did think it was cool when we run into Kracko. Kracko is a boss that apparently appears in almost every...
Yep.
He's another recurring boss.
Another Wispy Woods, yes. It basically appears almost everywhere.
Everything but the Crystal Shards and Kirby's Return to Dreamland, apparently.
Yeah, Crystal Shards is Kirby 64, and he wasn't there. I would know.
You were.
I was there.
I like Kracko. Kracko's a giant cloud with an eyeball that looks like he should be in a Zelda game, Link to the Past, not in a Kirby game, but, it is what it is.
Or a Metroid game.
Yeah. I like Kracko.
Too cute for a Metroid game.
Look at Metroid.
Yeah, he's very reminiscent of Mother Brain.
Mother Brain?
Mother Brain's not cute.
Yeah,
no.
That's why I say still too cute for a Metroid game. For
especially on Captain N.
I was thinking the same thing. I hadn't gotten there yet.
Oh god. No.
I like Crackle. I like the fight in Kirby's Dream Land 1 from what I remember of it. It's fine.
Kraggle's a good boss when in the other games when you have abilities. I don't think that in this game particularly. I mean, he's very easy in this one because he doesn't do much. He doesn't move around that much either. So
It's
He doesn't
actually
have all
really
his abilities yet.
a really fair point as far as him being more of a pain without abilities is because the boss fights in this game, you're so dependent on the RNG to have the boss give you an attack that lets you attack it back. Otherwise, they can just keep cycling through stuff that you have to dodge, waiting for that attack.
Yeah,
DDD's real bad about it.
God, DDD. We'll get to that.
I do. I mean, I have no problem with the boss fights in this game. I mean, I like the fact that with the Kirby game, it's all about waiting, especially in this first one when you have no ability. It's all about just waiting for that opening when they create something that you can suck in and then spit back out at them. Like that's the whole concept of these first, because you have no ability.
Yeah. One thing that and this is in both games, that I think it bothered me more than the fact that you couldn't copy abilities is I guess that we haven't talked about the fact that Kirby can float infinitely, but you have to constantly be pressing, or not constantly, I think, up. I'm very much used to just pressing whichever the jump button is, either A or B. I'm using a PS4 controller, so what the hell is A and B? My goddamn controller.
X and circle.
But yeah, I think that it's supposed to be A, the jump button. But I'm used to just pressing A to keep myself up floating instead of like pressing up. I think that was a little bit more of an issue for me in both of these games because I was constantly trying to press X to keep floating, and no, I had to press up.
I think in 2 you can press jump, or maybe it's only with certain.
I think you have to push up to inflate, and then you can use jump to.
Yeah, 1, I think he's right, but 2, I think you can do the other way. I think.
I think that I was already like too used to it in 1, and since I played both games back to back, I just didn't even try.
It's one sitting. That's what happens, I guess.
Yeah, man. One sitting for both of these suckers.
And then this game also does what Mega Man does, because after you finish fighting the bosses and you get to the last level, you have a boss rush. You have to fight all 4 of the previous bosses, and then you take on King Dedede. I do have a funny story. The last time I played Kirby's Dreamland, or the first time before this episode that I played it, was the day of my wedding. I was going to go get married. I woke up early that day. And I'm like, I want to play a game, but we're going on our honeymoon in the next days. I'm not going to have time to start anything. So I got up, sat down while she's off at the wedding, waiting for me, kind of getting ready. I mean, she's still getting her hair done. I didn't have to get my hair done. And I booted up Kirby's Dreamland and beat it in like one sitting. And I went, I'm going to get married now. So, yeah.
Your Honor, I'm here with the blessing of Kirby.
There was no Your Honor. It was a friend of mine was ordained.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
I always remember that. So that was my first time I ever played Kirby's Dreamland, was the day I got married.
Wow. That's what memories.
My wife didn't appreciate that story when I told her yesterday. Like, what?
Oh,
like, so what did you guys think of the King Dedede fight?
Yeah.
I already talked about my disdain for him not wanting to do the moves that produce stars to use to attack him. Other than that, it's pretty standard for a DDD fight.
Well, this is the first DDD fight.
Yeah, it set the standard.
Yeah. Let's not beat around the bush. Michael, you played it without using rewind, right?
Oh yeah. I tried to play it on my original hardware. Like, I still have my cart from back in the day, but you put this game into Game Boy Advance, it makes the color palette very disgusting looking, and the game froze on the second level, so I was forced to use other methods.
I technically played on a GBA also. I had some color. It was fine.
But it's like everything that would be white-ish in like a Game Boy Pocket was a weird shade of blue. Like, I don't know if it's just my cart because it's so old or what.
That might be your cart, because mine wasn't that. Except mine wasn't a cart, so
yeah,
I don't know. I do like how you fight King Dedede in a boxing ring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that is cool. I like King Dedede. I have no problem with him. I had no problem with this fight either. Like, I didn't have a problem with the stars being produced because his fat ass is constantly trying to jump on you or hit you. I had no problem with it.
Yeah, mine refused to do those 2 attacks. He wanted to keep diving at me and sliding and then trying to inhale me. back
I
and
think
forth.
you can bait him into certain attacks. Maybe I'm wrong though. I was save stating, so I didn't care as much.
That seems too advanced for 92.
Yeah, you're probably right. I played this earlier this week and it's already slipping away.
Yeah, I played it on Wednesday. I barely remember.
I mean, we should talk about the ending. The great, amazing ending you get when you beat Kirby's Dreamland 1.
Kirby
One could say
inflates.
the Saving
Kirby's-
Private Ryan of Kirby endings.
He inflates to carry back the castle, and a bunch of food falls out of the castle. He brings the castle home with all the food.
Also, it's the Superman returns of... No, wait. Which one am I thinking of? I don't know. One of the Supermans.
I don't know either. Probably 4.
Ah,
I got
yeah,
nothing.
maybe.
So-
I don't know.
The end
Any
credits.
last...
End credits theme is the best track in the game. Not that Mike would know, but
Mike doesn't know.
it's great.
I don't even remember. Again, I had it on. I was listening to it because I was doing a stream, so I obviously had it on. But hell if I remember. I know that Kirby games usually have good music. So
Yeah.
It's okay.
Sakurai likes to reuse that too. Well, I guess he wouldn't be the sound designer, but a lot of these tracks get reused and remixed throughout the rest of the franchise.
he reuses everything. We've established this already.
I'm listening. I just listened to it just now. It's never gonna give you up. So I got. That's all I got.
Boy.
That's what happens. So, any last things to say about Kirby's Dreamland 1 before we jump into the good one?
No, not really.
Wait, 2 is the good one? Are we sure?
So, unfortunately, due to circumstances, Emanuel had to leave this episode because he just insulted one of Mike's favorite childhood games. So, sorry about that disconnection there, Emanuel. Thank you for joining on the show. So, I played Kirby's Dreamland 2 when I was a kid. A friend of mine had it, and he let me borrow it. And I loved this game as a kid. I never could beat it. I don't think I ever got past Krakow, but I loved this game as a kid so much.
Pretty great.
It is an amazing little game, except for that secret final boss fight. But other than that, we'll get into perfect little game. I mean, it's still simple, just like Kirby's Dreamland 1. It's not too complicated, but now you can suck in people and absorb their abilities, which just makes this game just amazing.
Oh, there is something else to say about the original Kirby's Dreamland. It's one, I guess Amazing Mirror would be the other one. They're the only 2 Kirby games that I can think of in the main line that they aren't divided into stages. Like, it's all one continuous game. You can't go back like you can in 2 to go to previous levels. Not that you would need to.
You're telling me Kirby's going to give it up?
No. He won't let you down, though.
Yeah,
Unless you play Tilt and Tumble, apparently.
unless you down a lot, you play Tilt and Tumble. Gives you up, too.
No,
And he runs around and deserts you.
he does.
God.
I don't know.
He wouldn't desert you. He's the hero.
Emanuel deserted him, I think.
Maybe. Who knows?
So, Dreamland 2 also, it introduces the copy ability and also introduces the 3 pets that you get that can help you. Gerbil, or hamster looking thing named Rick. A fish.
Hamtaro, yes.
A fish, I don't remember the fish's name.
Kind the ocean sunfish.
Mambo, yes.
Mambo number 5. And then you also get the owl with my favorite, which is Koo, I think, right?
It's cool.
It's Hoot.
I gotta correct you though that Kirby's Adventure actually introduced the copy abilities. They would have
Oh, good point.
93.
Eh.
2 years before Dreamland 2, 1 year after.
You know,
Dreamland.
I didn't. When I played Kirby's Adventure once, not a couple years ago, and I thought that was the first Kirby game. And then I played Dreamland 1 and realized I was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very common misconception considering that game is on the NES, where you would assume is where most of the Nintendo franchises originated from.
Yeah.
Instead, Kirby originated on the Game Boy and then landed on the NES, which is very, very interesting.
And it goes back to the Game Boy.
Yeah,
Then it goes back to the Game Boy.
it's like Gargoyle's Quest, where the first game was on the Game Boy and then the second one was on the NES.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't know either, but Gargoyles is a great show. I don't know about the game,
Not
but
Gargoyles. Gargoyle Quest. The firebrand from Ghost of Providence.
Oh, that's a different Gargoyle. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
Not the gargoyle you're looking for.
No, definitely not the Gargoyle that I was looking for.
So even though this game didn't introduce the copy ability, at least this is the first one to introduce the pets, though, right? I was right on that
It
one.
was, first time we get the animal friends.
Okay, so
Animal,
I was right about
animal
one.
buddies.
Are they back in any other game?
Oh, yeah. Kirby's Dreamland 3 has these 3, and they introduced 3 new ones.
Okay.
I'll get there someday.
Yeah, we'll talk about in that episode.
Oh, that Dreamland 3 is on SNES. So
Yes.
Yeah.
just to put out where all of these games are.
There's a lot to keep track of.
So Kirby's Dreamland 2 also kind of starts off with, like we said before, the same first boss. You fight Wispy Woods again.
Yep, I told you.
You gotta fight COVID-19 Wispy. He's got his mask on.
You're right, he does.
Yeah, I actually made that joke as well on my stream. Nice. I was like, oh, he's covering up for COVID-19.
I've got him in my notes. It's COVID Wispy Woods.
He's wearing sunglasses too when you first start the fight. So, I mean, that could fit COVID-19 also, because some people do wear glasses and the mask. He's being extra safe. And Kirby's an asshole. He takes off his mask and he's beating him with apples.
He spits in his face.
Yeah, he wants to get him infected with COVID-19.
So what we're saying is Kirby's Dreamland 2, Kirby is the villain.
Kirby is the villain. Yoshi doesn't pay taxes, so what we're saying is that all your childhood heroes really are the villains.
he's a rat licker, as we discovered. The new term we discovered this week.
Oh God!
If you don't wear a mask, they call you a rat licker. Compared to the bubonic plague, licking rats.
That's good stuff. That's fair. That's good.
Thanks to Helena for that shout out and finding that, showing to me. So, no, this is funny. I didn't even think about that. I mean, I played this a couple days ago. It didn't even dawn on that thought. Just didn't even dawn on me. I really like Kirby's Dreamland 2, as I'm going to say many times. Also, another thing is this is the game where it has like little world that you go to. You have little islands on this world map that you can pick from each one of the stages, and then when you pick that area, you'll have little doors in different parts of this little like zone that you're in that lead to each level. And as you beat a level, the next door will open for the next level.
Yeah,
really cool.
Which is basically what I think that's the structure going forward with the rest of the Kirby games.
Yeah, Avenger started it, and this one carries it along.
I thought you said Avengers started. I was like, wait.
Avengers, yeah.
Yeah, the Avengers. Dun, 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 dun.
Kirby Avengers.
Oh my God.
That could work.
I'm sure that fan art's out there somewhere.
Kirby just copying everybody. Kirby with a Captain America shield, with an Iron Man suit, with Thor's hammer. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Like an army of Kirbys, all with different Avengers abilities.
So, Emanuel, what did you feel about the little like world map in this game?
I mean, that's where this. No, I guess not started. I have not played Adventures, but
I did not recently.
It's very standard Kirby. So I don't know. Can't say I can bash it or love it. It's just a part of what this game is. What this series is overall.
I feel that it's good, especially again because you're playing a mobile game from back in the 90s. In that sense, I when I said it made sense. I went, oh no, what am I saying? Handheld. Oh god,
don't say mobile shit. No,
it works good for that because all the levels are bite sized. It shows you where you are, has battery save, so it's saving after each little thing that you do. It works out really well, I feel, for that. And also, that's awesome. Also, you can replay levels if you want to because I mean, you can do that. Go get a different ability you might need, or get a pet that you need for certain things. Like I thought that was I like games that let me do that. Or if I want to get more extra lives, I could go get more extra life.
Yeah, and for those, go ahead. Sorry.
For those wondering, there are a bunch of Kirby in different Marvel costumes we just found out.
I've been posting them in our chat.
Yeah.
But as you were saying, yeah, you do want to go back to certain levels to get the different animal friends because you need them to get this game's collectibles, the rainbow drops.
Oh, man, that's what the swirling thingamabobs were? Yep. Okay, I only managed to collect like 2 or 3 of them on my playthrough, so...
That's okay.
So, do you want to get into
you don't need to. They don't do anything. They give you this fake fight that you can't possibly win. That's impossible. We'll get there later, but that's all I unlocked. Nothing important.
Okay.
Nothing there.
Don't spoil the ending for that surprise for me yet because I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, that's okay. When I beat this game a year ago or 2 years ago, I was like, oh, I beat it. Beat King Dedede was done. I was happy as could be. And then Mike was like, well, did you get all the things? I'm like, I don't care about that. Well, there's a secret boss. I'm like, fuck. And then I was very upset, but we'll get there. So what do you guys think about I want to say it's the second world when they first introduced the owl, which I like. But also, owl's cool.
The owl is the best companion. God, that owl was my ride or die for this game. You combine the owl with the freaking umbrella, baby, you are invincible almost.
Yep. You are invincible during
You
those
can
frames.
literally just steamroll through almost anything. Because as long as you are spinning, you don't take damage. So
Yes,
you're
and-
basically invincible.
And the
Yep.
thing we should mention is every pet has also one, they have different abilities when you have the pet and you swallow an enemy and you copy that ability, but also the animals have their own life bar. So Kirby has his life bar of six health. So does the animal that you're riding. So if you have an animal, you have essentially 12 hits in a boss fight or something.
Yep. You know,
Unless
it's-
you don't have full health when you get them, because if you have 2
Oh,
hits and
yeah.
you get an animal, then
Yep.
when you lose the animal, you're down to your 2 hits. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Which is
briefly
That
revive.
is something that you do not recover your health at the end of a stage, like in a lot of other, these kinds of games. I want to say
You do
can.
if you're good to the end goal game.
How does that work?
It's just the further down the cloud is, it's a
I
lot.
understood that part, but
Yeah.
what affects it?
I don't know.
You have
It's-
to hold. I think that you have to hold the jump button at a certain point to
That's
actually.
what I've been doing for
higher.
the last 20 years I played this game. I don't know if it did anything, but I always do it.
Yeah, he's
I only managed to get to the top cloud once on my playthrough.
the end goal games are a lot more apparent in the future games. in the series.
This is something that will also be in the rest of the games moving forward. The cloud jumping at the end of the stage to get more goodies, I guess you can call it.
Yeah, you get stars that if you get enough of them, you get an extra life. You get medicine that will fill a couple of health bars. You get that maximum tomato that I thought was a beetle when I was a kid that gives you full health. So, which are all probably staples of Kirby now.
Yeah. I didn't confuse it with a beetle because I had already played future games.
I have no idea why I did when I was a kid. I completely forgot
no,
about that.
no.
Just now.
But to be fair to you, it does kind of look like a beetle. If you didn't know what it was as a kid, I would totally tell you that was kind of a beetle.
I also
looking
really
thing.
liked bugs as a kid.
Oh,
I did really like bugs a lot when I was a kid.
No,
Now, not as much, but when I was a kid, I thought bugs are the best.
I like the concept of bugs as long as they're not near me.
So
I would go and find logs and look for bugs and catch bugs.
no.
And put bugs in containers.
I was gonna ask if you were like that anime trope of just the kids catching bugs with their nets and whatnot in Japan,
Yep,
like
that was me. My son's the same way. When I went over to where he's living, I was in his room looking around, and there he had bugs in a thing. He's like, "Yep." I'm like, "Oh, you're just like me. We haven't lived together in 4 years, but you're just like me." I'm like,
I'll stick to bug type Pokemon.
it's a. Could you say that he's just your mini me?
He is like, looks like me too.
Oh,
Well, he's my son, so that's how it works, I guess.
oh, the world is not ready for a second mic. No, never gonna give you.
That's the theme of tonight's episode.
Yes.
All right. So other thing I do want to mention Kirby's Dreamland 2, besides the cover most things, there is one thing that's interesting to me, or the boss fights are very interesting to me, I feel like, in this game. I enjoy them a lot. Even the second one, even though the second one's kind of odd, where you're fighting a giant mother boar and you eat her babies and shoot her babies back at her.
Ruff and Nelly.
Odd concept, but it's interesting.
I don't even remember anymore.
Yeah,
I remember Wispy Woods and I remember Krakow and DDD. Oh, okay. I'm actually looking at my stream right now because I kind of want to. Yeah, I know.
It's interesting. It's not a bad fight. When I was a kid, and I had no problem with it.
I don't think that has not come back to any of the games, right, Michael?
Nerf and Nelly? Yeah, they're in Kirby's Dreamland 3 and 64, I believe.
I don't remember that in 64. Then again, I mentally blocked 64.
So when we do that on the show, you coming back?
Up.
And they are also in Triple Deluxe and Star Allies, according to Wiki. So yeah, they've been around.
Well, I thought Darkwind Ducks had no fear, Manuel. So apparently it is Darkwind Duck is scared of Kirby. 64 Kirby.
Darkwind Duck is actually scared of a lot of things. He just pretends not to be scared.
Hey, it fits you perfectly. How's that Resident Evil playthrough going?
Why? We'll talk about that later.
So, and then the third boss to me is really I like the third boss where that's because I had to fish. But the third boss, you fight an angler fish with the best name ever. His name is Sweet Stuff. I don't know why. I didn't even know I was looking up the names. I'm like, what? Sweet Stuff is his name?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So odd a name that after I had already fought him, I looked up the names. I'm like, who the hell is Sweet Stuff?
An angler fish. It's
Naturally.
I mean, I did this fight with the fish, so it was really easy. But like, I'm watching it without the fish because when Kirby's underwater, he can't suck in anything. He can only blow bubbles that go probably like one Kirby in front of him. So you have to get right in front of this boss's face and hit him, or push these stars, put star U's that are floating around at him. Either one works.
Kirby's Dreamland 1, you can do anything underwater.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. Kirby's Dreamland is just,
I gotta say, the fish was my least favorite animal of all of these.
he's only
honestly.
good for underwater. Outside of water, he can't really jump very well. He's useless.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they had to get the land, sea, and air trio, so there had to be someone for the water.
Couldn't it be a frog? Frog would have been better.
Mm.
Frogs can go on land too.
I want to. I'm trying to think. There's some game that has like a frog for
Donkey
underwater.
Kong Country has a frog.
Mario Brothers 3 with the frog suit.
Well,
That's
yeah,
kind of useless on land though.
I think that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, I have
Not
not
very
played Donkey Kong Country yet.
You
As
haven't
of-
played that game yet?
As of the recording of this podcast, I have not played it. But by the time
Oh yeah,
that
there's no
this-
platinum trophy. Of course, he hasn't played it.
By
yet.
the time that this podcast episode airs, I should have done this Donkey Kong Country stream.
Should have.
Should have.
There.
Should have.
It-
Yes.
It just now occurred to me that the 3 new animal friends they introduced in Kirby's Dreamland 3 are also land, sea, and air.
I would
get
say I know what
an
you're talking
octopus.
about, but I got nothing because I never played it.
So it's basically just
We get an octopus named Choo Choo. She's a little more useful than Kine is.
Not hard to be more useful than that fish.
She can stick to the ceiling.
And then I like the ice world in this. This was actually a fun ice world. The fourth world, you're in ice, and I actually didn't have a problem with ice mechanics in Kirby because I just float all the time. So I'm like, yeah, this ain't so bad.
exactly. That's the caveat, though.
That's the way to play ice. To just float above it and not deal with it.
No, that's the play to way Kirby. Just float around the entire level. Just skip a lot of shit because who cares?
Or you use Ku in the parasol and just go through everything.
Yeah.
I didn't use that very often. I like Ku, but I didn't care for the parasol.
God. Once I found out all of what we said about combining Ku with the parasol, man, that was that was my dream team, baby.
What did you think of the Ice Dragon boss?
It's pretty adorable.
I agree. I like him. He's the fat guy that jumps and shoots icicles at you, and he's not that bad.
He comes back a couple times too.
Yeah.
Oh, the Warless. Oh, yes.
He's in Kirby
he's-
64 too.
He's in a lot of Kirby games. But,
Yeah, well,
he's-
Kirby likes to reuse things.
Usually, although unlike Krakow and Wispy Woods, he's more of a mini boss than an actual boss. Like Krakow and Wispy Woods.
I'm going to push up my glasses here. Technically, he never returns because every time we see him in the future, it's a painting come to life.
Okay.
So there you go.
That makes absolutely no. Well, I guess because he was
I don't-
murdered in this game, so he never came back to life. Okay. Kirby killed him.
I mean, Kirby kills a lot. It's
Yeah,
just
Kirby's
like
a murderer.
it's just like that murderous Mario.
Kirby's
Killing
Dreamland 3 introduces a character named Adeline. She can draw things and they come to life. So that's typically where we see the Ice Dragon from here on.
That's interesting. And when you play this on a Game Boy Color, or if you play this on a Super Game Boy, or apparently not Mike's Game Boy Advance, every level kind of has its own color shade, which I think is also really cool. This should be mentioned. Where like World 3 is blue, World 4 is also blue, but World 5 is red. At least I'm looking at the boss fights at the moment. And I can't be the only one, but when I was a kid, I fucking hated Angry Sun and Angry Moon. But looking back, because I had a really hard time beating the both of them. I don't know why. But they are probably one of my favorite bosses now. Like when I went through this game recently, I really like them. And they're not hard at all.
Yeah, Mr. Shine and Mr. Bright. They came over from Adventure.
Oh, interesting.
I don't remember that. I like them though. I like that fight where it switches off between the sun and the moon, and then you'll fight the other one. Like I think it's really cool.
And the,
Yeah,
I like
it's a very good. It's a very cool boss dynamic that you'll see not in this franchise specifically, but in a lot of other games. They do that, and it's always cool when there's like two bosses at the same time that complement each other.
Twin Rova.
Hmm.
From
I
Ocarina.
I was actually thinking of the Messenger. There's these twin Cyclop brothers that one uses his fists and one uses his feet to fight. and they like complement each other. They basically tag team, like in wrestling. They just tag out of the fighting field. And
I have a very important question. Is there a platinum trophy for Messenger?
yeah, I got it.
Okay, no wonder why you mentioned that and just ignore his Ocarina of Time. There's no trophy for that.
Oh no, I played Ocarina of Time. It's my favorite Legend of Zelda game, actually. So
There's no trophy.
it's just not what came to mind first. Because I've only played Ocarina of Time once on the 3DS.
Well, but there's a platinum trophy for it.
I mean, I want to do a playthrough of that again.
You should. Good game.
Yeah, it's a very fantastic game, but I would be playing like the original N64 but emulated. I wish that I wish that there were a way to emulate like the 3DS version, because I'm very sure that that's the best way to play that game.
You can emulate 3DS.
Play the randomizer.
Mythos. Okay, my good friend Mythos, shout out to him, twitch.tv/MythosGaming29, sorry, Mike. But he does randomizers. I leave that to him. I'm not a fan. I'm honestly not a fan of those. I like to play games, although I do the cheating thing of using rewind and whatnot, but I like to play games, like originally conceived kind of, except with the ability of rewind and whatnot. Randomizers are the one thing that I'm like, not really into those.
I do want to play Link to the Past randomizer at some point.
I still gotta do a playthrough of Link to the Past. I was gonna do a playthrough of that game last year when you guys did the podcast. 50. Yeah, the podcast episode, and I didn't manage to end up doing it. And I have not played a Legend of Zelda game since Link's Awakening remake last year, so I'm very overdue to play a Zelda game for my channel at this point.
So someday you definitely need to play Link to the Past since you haven't. I mean, especially since it's been a year since you played Link's Awakening, I would say play Link to the Past, but great game. But also, since we're talking about Kirby, we keep getting sidetracked because it's Kirby and we don't.
Who's Kirby?
Yeah, we're not as passionate. Apparently, 2 of the 3 of us are not as passionate about Kirby as we should be. I'm finding out real fast. So I do like the Cloud world, and also another thing, as you progress through different worlds, there's 7 worlds all in this game, and each one is very themed. And as you progress through the game, and they change, like each boss fight kind of fits the world. They said before they have the color palette. I mean, they're very interesting, and they do, once you start seeing the enemies you can copy, it's usually always the same enemies. And I remember the first time I played this, I would suck in random people to see whoever gave me ability. I mean, there's only certain ones that do, and you'll learn that real quick. But they're unique enough, especially with the 3 different animals. They all give you a different ability and a different thing. And this time, when I played this game as a kid, I always came into a boss fight with an animal to give me that extra edge and an ability that would help me against the boss. But one thing that I do want to talk about that I remember kind of pissing me off when I was a kid is when you fight Krakola again in this game, he has 2 forms. Mm-hmm. He tricks you. He has one form where he's a little ball, and after you kick his ass, then he falls in the cloud, and then he gets a second health bar and gets back up again.
It's time for round 2, bitch.
Round 2, fight. Yeah.
Yep. Basically like that. It's a bait and switch that he does. It's something.
I like it though. I like the fight in this game a lot with Krakola. Even when I was a kid, I hated it because I couldn't beat him for a long time. I don't know why, because he's not that hard. I mean, yeah, I was a kid, I guess so.
Yeah, well,
I played a lot of.
Might as well talk about the abilities since you mentioned them.
Sure, we should. We haven't touched on those yet.
Kirby's Adventure had 25 more or less, and then
wow, yeah, damn, that's a lot.
And then this game parted down to just 7, but I think it's to compensate because like you said, the animal friends each have their own unique spins on them. Yeah, and it's Game Boy.
Except the abilities are good. You have the fire, you have the parasol that we have mentioned more time than it deserves.
Because it's a good combination with the owl. Otherwise, it's not good.
You got Cutter, Ice, Needle, Spark, and Stone were the other ones that we hadn't mentioned.
Ice one too is nice.
Yeah, Ice one's it's always a good one in the games. It just freezes the enemies, and it's pretty great.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. And then each ability has a particular kind of block that only it can break, which you need to get the rainbow drops.
Yeah. No, you don't need those rainbow drops. They just, like I said, they don't block impossible.
You don't.
Gotta get those rainbow drops.
No, you don't.
Gotta get the rainbow drops. Gotta get the crystal shards.
Get those rainbow drops. Don't gotta get them.
That was good. That was good. Alright, so, oh god, after you beat Krakow, what the hell to say? Oh, ability. That's what we were talking about. I don't care about Krakow. The abilities, like there's also the boomerang, and there's the lightning one. I used a couple times, like with the owl. You shoot lightning down as the owl holds you, which is kind of cool. I use that all the damn time.
Yeah, electricity is another one that's almost always good in Kirby games.
Especially from Superstar on, when you get plasma and charge up a giant ball of electricity to shoot.
It's pretty damn cool. I think almost all the abilities are pretty useful, except for the fucking rock. The rock is garbage.
No, rock is woof.
Unless you combine it with Rick, where he turns into a boulder.
I died multiple times when I'm like, use the rock, and then Rick went down the hole.
Yep, I thought that it would be good with Rick, but no, it also didn't. Like, I think that even on rock form, I took damage when getting hit.
You shouldn't.
I don't know. I tried using that ability a couple times, and I always got hit, even when I was a boulder.
They tend to give you stone at very opportune times. Usually, it's when you need to roll down a hill.
That is something that the levels are always like that. They give you like the abilities like close by, and then it'll probably be useful for this level. I believe that in Nightmare and Dreamland there is like the wheel ability.
Yep.
And they specifically give it to you a lot in levels that you need that ability to progress. Kirby's kind of like that, they give you abilities depending on the level most of the time.
I would agree with that. It does a good job. I just really hate the rock.
The rock. We can agree that not
everything else is fine.
The least.
Oh god. Okay, the dumbest is the rock when you're the fish. He turns to the rock, the fish hits the ground, and the fish starts crying as you have this giant rock in the belly. Did you see it?
No.
He's crying.
Did you use Needle with Kine? Where Kirby turns into the normal spike ball and it like shoots through Kine?
No, I never did that.
He cries at that too.
Oh god. Mambo, as I like to call it, is the worst.
Why do you call him Mambo?
Mambo is the fish in Link's Awakening. He definitely reminds me a lot of it.
I mean, you weren't thinking of Mambo. A little bit of Klein is all I see. A little bit of Koo is all I need. A little bit of Rick is what I get. No, it wasn't that.
No, you do know that Mambo is used a lot in songs here in Puerto Rico. So
no, I do not know that. I haven't been to Puerto Rico.
Well, now you know it.
I want to go. Puerto Rico doesn't try to shake it off when I go visit. Otherwise, I like to visit.
It's closed off because of COVID. So sorry.
So is the rest of the USA.
Well, everywhere is closed down because of USA now.
Hey, let's go to Florida. I heard that's a fun place to be at right now.
Shut up. No.
There's a lot of singing in this episode.
Yeah, there really is. More than normal.
Yeah, don't wait for me, listeners. It's not happening.
So, the other thing I want to mention, since we're getting near the end of Kirby's Dreamland 2, is like one with the world. Like the whole point is that you're trying to get King Dedede because he stole he used the dark matter and he stole the Rainbow Bridge or something like that. I read it really quick and then I forgot it as.
Heimdall, open the Rainbow Bridge.
Rainbows
that connect the islands. Okay, so he's Heimdall, is what we're trying.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Open the Bifrost.
I mean, yeah, and he's using the dark matter, so maybe it's an Affinity Stone that he used and possessed him. That's what. So what we're trying to say is King Dedede is really Loki.
Oh, okay.
So I like the Dark Castle area. I like how it also has it has the most levels in the game. It has 7, but it's very interesting in my opinion. Like I had no. Levels are a little bit harder. I mean, getting that freaking last rainbow thing in World 7 is miserable.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You have to go through a maze. We have to suck in different abilities to open different doors, and it's a giant maze. And I looked at a guide to do it because all the rainbow parts are hidden in the regular levels, and you have to do certain things to get them.
Yeah, there's one in each world.
And this time, when you fight King Dedede, he doesn't have you're not in a boxing ring. He kind of copies the same abilities that he had in the first game. Which is fine. I like King Dedede. I have no problem with him. I know I'm saying it wrong.
He's tired for some reason.
I think that you actually said it right this last time.
I did?
Said it. Oh. Yeah.
I'm not meaning to.
It's 3 Ds.
D.
D.
Okay, King Dedede.
Yeah, there you go.
Play more.
I did not ever play that Smash game that he's in. So it's a fun fight. Like, and I like how midway through the fight he gets power charged and he gets faster. Which
yeah, because he wakes up because he's
tired. He ate all that food last game. He's tired. You know what happened?
He ate all of Kirby's food. God.
And now he's using dark matter. And then for Emanuel and for me a year ago,
no.
you beat King Dedede and the game ends and you see the credits. I think.
Yeah.
And that's
And everybody got their food back. Nothing else happened. No other.
And that's how the game should end. Like this time.
That's how it ended on my stream, baby, and that's the official way to end it.
That's no. Like when I played this game a year ago, I beat it. I was so happy and proud of myself. And this time I'm playing. I'm like, yeah, I'm just about done. And then Mike's like, well, did you get the rainbow thing? I'm like, I don't care about collectibles. He's like, but you don't get the secret fight. I'm like, fucking A.
You don't get the true final boss.
I can watch it on YouTube, man.
Oh God. Okay. Now for those that don't know, Emanuel included, once you get them, you get a sword for some reason, and the dark matter comes out of King Dedede, and all of a sudden the game decides that you're not playing a Kirby game now. You're playing some weird ass action game with a Kirby and a sword with no sucking abilities anymore.
So this game starts the trend of cutesy ass Kirby getting all the collectibles in the game and unlocking like truly demonic final bosses that are way harder than the rest of the game put together.
Who the hell's the actual boss then in this game?
You fight the actual dark matter that has possessed King Dedede.
It's a guy with a sword. Oh, I was doing this fight wrong.
Is he the guy with one eye?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, no, first he's a guy with a sword that I thought took 4 hits for every single hit that I took off his bar and realized I was doing it completely wrong now, and I wasn't hitting him, I guess, or something.
You can reflect his lasers, I think?
Oh, so that's why this guy is killing him in seconds, where it took me literally like 10, 15 minutes with save states to beat this boss, and I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. Every 4 hits takes off 1 health bar, and he has like 10 of them.
My tactic was to just hit him like just below his line of sight, so I had time to react whenever he went to make a move.
Oh, I have not been that mad at a boss fight since Parasite Eve 2. Like, just infuriated me, and I'm just like...
I thought that it was since last week in Moriarty.
You know what? I blocked out Moriarty completely. I completely forgot he existed. You're right. Moriarty... Okay, this was actually worse than Moriarty because Moriarty was just stupid because I was dumb. Yeah. This wasn't me being dumb. Maybe it was. I just watched this guy beat this boss fight in a minute. But I hated it because for me, it just took like hit after hit after hit after hit. And I'm like, he's not dying. And I don't like that in boss. I don't like boss fights that don't end. It's it's like, I understand it's the whole idea. Like we want you to rent, want you to rent the game, want you to buy it. So we're going to make it extremely hard. But apparently I was just being stupid. But still, it upset me a lot. It's bad. Yeah, because I see what you're supposed to hit him with his own attack, and that's what hurts him a lot more than your sword.
Same with his next form. When you beat the swordsman, he turns into this
eyeball.
Yeah, floating eyeball with these little spines coming out of him. And then you're supposed to, when he shoots out the scales, you're supposed to go behind him and knock those into him.
I see. And that kills him really quick. Huh.
Yeah, I'm seeing the boss battle right now.
You missed it.
I fought this guy before in other Kirby games. I'm good.
That's the great thing about Kirby. You get to do the same thing over and over and over again.
Exactly.
Oh, they get more horrific, though.
And then you get the true ending of this game where it says, excellent, and Kirby's holding a sword. Because that's when you think of Kirby, you think of a guy with a sword.
He's got the sword ability.
Yeah.
Not in this game.
Not in this game for some, not some weird reason, but yeah.
There's no sword in this game.
No. You see
there's an enemy with a sword, and I thought that you could like get his ability of the sword, and but no,
you can suck him in, but it doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
you just eat him and he goes away.
I'm blanking on that enemy's name.
The Night Guys?
Yeah, I want to say Sir Kibble, but that's the cutter guy.
I got nothing. Yeah. Meta Knight, but that's way later.
I guess.
Oh yeah, when
Sword Knight?
When does Meta Knight get introduced in the Kirby games?
He was an adventure. He's just not in this one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I forgot he's an adventure. When you play him?
In the chat, I just posted the final boss from Kirby's Dreamland 3. That's Zero. He's this giant balloon with a red eye that like shoots other red eyes at you. It's highly creepy.
Kirby's Dreamland 3 looks creepy right now. I'm just watching a playthrough of it.
How long is Adventure and Dreamland?
Dreamland 1 is 45 minutes.
No,
I know that's not what you wanted to ask, but that's what you asked.
Adventure, Kirby's Adventure and Dreamland 3. Let me look at how long to beat.
Kirby's
Adventure
Adventure
is 3.5 hours.
Oh Jesus H Christ, that's long.
There's a lot more
Games you
stages.
play.
I mean, for an old school Kirby game
Well, hey, if you were playing without rewind, it'd probably be longer. Nothing.
or shorter,
Yeah, because you throw the controller and leave.
probably.
I
Kirby's
would've.
Dreamland 3 is also 3 hours and a half. Jesus H Christ.
Jesus H.
Unless you go for all the collectibles in that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That game is worse because there's a collectible in each stage.
There's something wrong with us tonight.
Why?
I'm just
I've
talking
been doing
about
lots of
Kirby.
singing. I don't know why Kirby brought the singing out, but
I
blame.
always sing, so I don't know.
Yeah, you did sing Darkwing Duck.
He does get that mic power up in the first game, so.
See, it's all fit in the game. That's why I had to do we started the episode with Never Gonna Give You Up. Yeah. Okay. I think we should go to questions, comments, and memories. I got a few for this game.
All right.
I don't think you had nothing else left to say about Dreamland 2, right?
Nope.
That's good, because I don't want to talk about Dreamland 2 anymore. So,
But I thought it was your favorite game.
it is one of my favorite games. Hey, it's more favorite than the game we talked about last time you were on the show.
I'll agree to that.
Thank you, sir. All right, from the Denizens of Dreamland, the Kirby group on Facebook. First, I have two comments. One from Jacob Large. I wish I had the first game as a kid. Nah, you're good. And from Yuri Roman Morikiv said, why the first two games on Game Boy and the third game on the NES? Because well, actually, there's the excuse me, sir. The second game was on the NES, and the third game was on the Game Boy again.
And then the fourth one was on the SNES. So
yeah, the next two.
Take that.
And from the Overblood group, I have nothing. Come on,
wow.
Overblood.
Nobody played this game.
Nobody wanted to talk to me.
Oh God.
And from the Game Boy Paradise group, I have from Jared Siegel, Kirby 1 is pretty brain dead easy. You are correct. Kirby 2 is dope, though. Such a huge expansion of mechanics over the first one. It took me a long time to find a copy when I was a kid.
I mean, he's not wrong. It is a big jump between 1 and 2, but replaying 2 just feels so primitive compared to the newer ones.
Not when you only played 1 and 2 in Adventure. That's great. From Scott Cleveland, I like White Kirby over Pink Kirby. Okay. AJ Figueroa. I didn't know what this comment meant until, unfortunately, recently. I love both. When I was in my teens, first one is super easy. Second one is more elaborate to get the true ending. Yeah.
Yeah. Mike knows about that.
From Tyler Spellman, played the shit out of KDL as a kid. The local Game Shot has a copy of number 2. Might grab it next week if it's still there. I've never played it yet. Well, if it's still there 2 weeks from now, you should definitely pick it up. It's worth it.
If not, it's $4 on the 3DS eShop. So.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, both of them are on the 3DS eShop.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd pay $4 for the first one.
Not worth it. But second one is, and from Nathan Glynn, I have both and prefer Kirby's Dreamland 2 because of the ability to save the game and the ability to use enemies' powers. 100% right.
Yep.
Better game. And last group of questions we're going to read from the official Laser Time community. First one I have from Andrew Wilson. He just sent the commercial at Kirby's Dreamland 2. Yeah, there's something wrong with that.
Is that the one with the cop shoving the donuts in his mouth?
I don't think so. Let me do the great radio here. Oh, it's making noise. I don't want it to make noise. That didn't sound right. Okay.
We're so professional.
No, it's something to do with a bar, and the animals are beating up people in a bar with a biker.
Fuck.
I remember that one.
Yeah. That's okay. And got a couple I'm going to actually read from Bradley Brock. I used to play Game Boy while on the way to a beach house for our yearly family vacation. It was a substantial drive, like 7 to 8 hours. One year, I opted to see how many times I could beat Kirby's Dreamland this particular trip. Turns out it was about 53 or something around there. I would play the game to the end and immediately start over, trying to get faster with each round.
God
That's impressive,
damn.
sir.
Yeah.
That is impressive. And now you just listen to podcasts instead. So, and next, another one I want to read from Jesse Eubanks. I love Kirby's Dreamland 1. I figured out the configuration mode cheat by extrapolating, I can't say that word, from the hard mode input when I was 8. In retrospect, this may have been where it peaked. What?
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was a Kirby's Dreamland 2 until I saw 3 on SNES. Have you not played another Kirby game before?
Jesus H.
Because they get really good. That one is all right, but it's not is that, yeah. If you love that one, you're gonna love the rest.
Yeah, that was something we didn't mention about Kirby's Dreamland. Is after you beat it, it gives you a little button combination to activate a hard mode.
I guess. Oh, yeah. We did gloss over that.
Yep.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I don't wonder. From Vincent, I'm going to read 3 more, then we're done with this section. From Vincent Goodwin, I love Kirby's Dreamland 1. It was the first game I ever beat. I got consistently very good at it, but couldn't get past the stage 4 boss in the hard mode. Kirby's Dreamland 2, I was very excited and hyped for. I was disappointed that I beat the main campaign the weekend I got it, except I did not unlock the final stuff by finding all the random treasures scattered throughout the game. I didn't like it in Wario Land 1, and I didn't like it here. I never played the game again after that first weekend.
Wow.
And from Kyle Figueroa, I remember playing KDL2 a lot, trying to get the correct powers to find everything. Some of the power / companion combinations stuck with me. Sunfish with a light bulb in their mouth, hamster holding an umbrella with Kirby on top. It was one of the few Game Boy games I had before Pokemon dominated everything.
Yep.
I bet that guy loved Kirby 64 as much as I did then.
I know what you're talking about, but I need to play it again someday.
We will.
I know I will. I plan to. I almost went on the show a couple times. From Carrie Chandler, soon to be on the show, actually. I think Kirby's Dreamland was one of the first games I bought when I got my first Game Boy in 1999. I played through it and beat it at least 3 times before I gave it away, the device and all my games, to a friend serving in Afghanistan in 2010. I loved it.
Wow.
A fun, easy, short little platform that felt very innovative at the time. This week, I bought Kirby's Dreamland 2 and I've been playing it for the first time. It's excellent and basically takes everything good from the first game and gives you more of it while dialing up the difficulty just enough to be a challenge without ever feeling unfair. Darkwing Duck. Darkwing. Both games really show off the creativity and polish of HAL Laboratory Games. You are right, sir.
I figured you were going to make a joke about the final boss.
Oh, you don't need... There's no final boss. You just keep beat DD and the game's over. That's fine. No, I mean that real. I mean, now that I see what I was doing wrong, it wasn't so much the boss fight being ridiculously hard. It was me being ridiculously stupid. Is more of the case with us in this one. I didn't know what I was doing.
So it's Moriarty all over again.
Yeah, Moriarty was because I was being dumb too. And Parasite too. And that boss fight I hated was also me not realizing what to do too. So
Trying to see a pattern here.
Me too. I don't like it either.
Don't blame
I'm
the
not
game,
joining the
blame the
pattern.
player.
I'm not good at games. That's why I stuck with RPGs as a kid.
I'm not good at games either, but sometimes you
Yeah,
just gotta.
You're better than me.
Sometimes you just gotta YouTube something.
How many platinums do you have at the time of this?
At the time of this recording, 117.
Jeez.
That's why I keep making the trophy joke all episode, by the way.
By the time that the episode airs, who knows?
In 2 weeks, yeah.
The sky's the limit.
I have like 4, I think.
3, maybe. Who knows? I am going through Ghost of Tsushima, and that is taking a while. So that is a very big game, and
I want to play it, but I keep hearing everyone say about how giant it is, and it scares me.
I mean, it's not as giant as a Witcher 3 or something like that. If you've played Horizon Zero Dawn, it's basically like that.
Okay. I think we should go to Sulphur Box.
Yeah, sure.
All right, and Emanuel, since you're the most positive Kirby person here, why don't you go first?
I am the most positive. Well, not really, but I love Kirby. I love Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland, and I love
Tumble.
64. Do you love Kirby? I don't know.
Suddenly I'm starting to have PTSD. I'm about to on my floor.
So next time he's coming on for Tilt and Tumble.
Actually, my internet provider said that they are cutting off my internet. I am never having internet ever again. This is the last time that you will ever hear me. But I think that I've talked about this in some of the other times that I've been here on the show. Just like those times where we've played like the first game in a series, Kirby's Dreamland is it's a foundation. It's what laid the groundwork for games to come, for better games to come. It's not to say that it's a bad game inherently. It's just a very basic game that does that. It gets better in the sequel when you have the trademark copy abilities, which is what makes Kirby games great and actually, I would say, fun, which is why some of the spin-off Kirby games, Tales of Tumble, aren't exactly great, because it strips Kirby of that thing that makes it so unique. Because I know that there's other games where you can basically take the abilities or shapes of other of your enemies or whatnot. Mega Man, once you beat a boss, you gain their ability and whatnot, but in this game, you can copy their abilities like at will during a level, not necessarily because you beat a boss. So yeah, Dreamland 1, again, not a bad game, It's a short game. Again, even if I didn't use rewind, like Mike said, it's like 45 minutes. So it is a very quick time and an easy one, which is something of a trend in Kirby games. Kirby games are inherently easy. But Kirby's Dreamland 1, it's going to the box. I honestly don't.
I know that.
Yeah, it's not a bad game. It's just there's better Kirby games than this that have come since. Nightmare in Dreamland is specifically one that does the entire formula very great, and Planet Robobot does it even better. It's an amazing game. Dreamland 2. It's interesting because the animal thing, I have played a couple more Kirby games, like I said, and this is the first time that I've actually encountered the animals. I hated the fish. I did not like the goddamn fish. Hamtaro, as I call him, was all right. The owl,
fine.
The owl is the MVP, baby. He's spin to win. You just combine him with that parasol, and you become a wrecking machine. And you're golden for the entire game, basically, as long as you don't lose him. Also, he doesn't really work well underwater. That is like the drawback, that you can't really use him well underwater. But it's still manageable. Man, I don't know where I stand in Dreamland 2, because again, I have played other Kirby games, future Kirby games, and better Kirby games than this one. So I don't know. I think that I'm gonna have to box it as well.
What?
Yeah, I like it.
Show.
I like some of it, but it's another foundation. It's just that. It's another foundation because look, Mike, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm pretty sure that from what I've heard, Kirby's Adventure is going to be another box. Until we don't get to Nightmare in Dreamland, which is the one that basically started it off for me, I don't think that I'm gonna give a Kirby game a shelf. Again,
it's funny because that's just a remake of Adventure.
But it's a better remake of Adventure because even though I have not played the original Adventure, I have heard it before that it does everything that Adventure did, but way better. And if I were being pitiful and whatnot, I would have given it a shelf for you, Mike, but I can't.
No, it's fine. Each their own.
Especially because you gave Darkwing Duck a box, so now I'm giving your game a box.
There's a difference. One of these games is good.
He would have given it a dumpster if that was an option.
No. Dreamland 1 doesn't deserve the dumpster either. 64.
I meant Mike with Darkwing Duck.
Oh, okay. Now, Kirby 64, I would dumpster fire that shit, as well as Tilt and Tumble. But no, this is not something that is, abnormal for me, Mike. You know that I gave Killer 7 the box as well. So
I didn't remember that.
Yeah,
it's been a long time. That was a long time ago.
Oh, it's rained. Oh,
it's already been on the show, so I don't have to play it.
Nope. I don't know why it was on the show, to be honest. I don't know why I picked it.
Yeah, I think that was the first time that I came to the show, too. So
it was. You signed up for Killer 7. I kind of convinced you too.
Good times. But
so,
yeah,
okay, so box and box?
Yeah, box and box.
How about you, Mike?
Spoilers for every Kirby game we do in the future. They're all going on the shelf because I love this series. So I'm not big on the spin-offs, but the main series I absolutely adore.
So you're putting 64 on the shelf. You're putting Tilt and Tumble on the shelf.
That's a spin-off.
You said every Kirby game.
I said except spin-offs.
You said every Kirby game before you corrected yourself. So now you have to live with it.
Now that's out of context. But Emanuel kind of nailed it on the head. Like, the ability to steal powers is one of my favorite tropes, and this series is one of the best ones to do it. And when you can combine them with, say, the Animal Friends or Kirby 64, it's just that much better. So, yep, they're both going on the shelf. I will play them again. Probably not soon, but someday I will revisit both these games.
I'll go last because I'm still here. Kirby's Dreamland 1 is going in the box. I don't completely enjoy it. It's a good game, but it's not really a game for me. It's simple, but I beat it quickly. Hey, I beat it on the day of my wedding, so that's always stuck with me. But other than that, it just isn't one of those games that I need to go back and keep playing. You know, it's a good game, but it's not my game. And Kirby Dreamland 2, with all the nostalgia I have for it, all the time that I put into it over the years, and I played it a few different times, I still really like it. And it means a lot to me. So that's a big part of it. So yeah, it's 100% going on the shelf, and I will always tell everybody to play Kirby Dreamland. Oh,
Good times.
I mean, almost went how I expected. Emanuel having bad opinions. That's how I expected. And
I
Mike,
said it was a good game.
and Mike, what did you? Why don't you introduce what we're going to be talking about next week?
Grab your cameras because we are playing Pokemon Snap.
Oh, snap.
Oh, jeez.
Wonderful.
That was good.
That was pretty good.
Hey, I wonder if that music is going to slap when we play it, huh?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what you're playing.
Get to the plugs.
Actually, I have a surprise. I have a surprise after the plug, so stay tuned after the plug for the surprise. But okay, first thing I want to say, if you Emanuel, where can people find you at?
Not on twitch.tv/Commander Lionheart, where I do my streams a couple times a week. I gotta say, I'm very close to getting to those 100 followers on twitch.tv/Commander Lionheart so that I can play Resident Evil. Here's the thing. The thing is that it has a deadline. You know, the whole getting to those 100 followers so that I do a full Resident Evil playthrough on October. It has a deadline of the last week of September, because on the last week of September, I am going to be doing the season finale of my show, First Strike, where if I don't get to those 100 followers, I'm going to do a First Strike of Resident Evil. If I do get to those 100 followers, I'll do the Resident Evil playthrough on October, but the final episode of this season of First Strike is going to be Dark Souls 2. So
Okay.
I'm kind of giving incentive to people so that they follow me over on twitch.tv/Commander Lionheart. But yeah, you can also find me on youtube.com/Commander Lionheart, where I put the same streams there for people who don't want to watch it live, maybe watch it later. Maybe watch it in bits and pieces. Listen it to like a podcast or something. I don't know. Whatever you want, man.
I want Tilt and Tumble to work on my emulator.
That I don't think that's gonna work, Mike. I'm telling you.
I heard it does. There's people that were saying that the Tilt and Tumble can recognize your phone, so there's ways to play it.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm gonna find out.
I
really want to play it now.
Oh, you'll be sorry.
Oh, were you done with your plug before I interrupted?
Yeah, I was done. Don't worry.
Okay. I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to make Kirby work.
So,
and also, I want to say that if you like our intro and outro, courtesy Bubby, a.k.a. Mike Stoney from his EP Bite the Bullet, Song and School Kid Squad, you can check out his YouTube channel. There'll be a link in the show notes. So definitely go take a listen to him. And if you like this episode, this is our first Kirby episode. I have nothing else to suggest to you, because there are no other Kirby episodes yet. But we do lots of other episodes. We've done cover a ton of Nintendo games. We'll definitely check those out. We do comics, some. We do movies. We're currently going through the MCU movies. We're getting there. Avengers coming out here, or may already come out at the time you're hearing this. It's coming out soon, at some point when you're hearing this. So definitely go check that out. I also want to say, if you enjoyed this show and you want to support us, let somebody know. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Tell someone you don't like. I don't care. Tell somebody. Let people know of this awesome podcast. We have more listeners, and we can do more with the show eventually. Well, that's my goal. That's my goal now every month. Every day, tell people somebody to watch the show. And now for the surprise.
Sorry if you play that song.
So do I. What I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just want to tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand.
We're trying to gain listeners.
All right, we will see you guys all next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.